I don't know if the professors have a free subscription or if you can get a discount subscription, but it is critically important that everybody read the Sports Business Journal at least once a week. And if you can read the Sports Business Daily every day, you need to read it. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I have to read it every day because it tells me exactly what's going on in the sports and entertainment industry. And it's not just talent. It is sponsorship, it's sales, it's collegiate, it's event marketing, it's accounting, it's anything you'd ever want it to be and more. And it is very, very important that, that everyone really make sure they get a subscription to that. I can't stress to you enough how important that is. I'm glad, thank you for the 7 people who raised their hand. You're way ahead of the game, but everyone else needs to get in that game and do that. How many of you were involved in athletics in college? Impressive. Impressive. On the end. Yes, you, right there. Yes, stand up. Thank you. Just curious, your position? Here. Excellent. Please come up. I'd love to give you an autograph. Well, you have your choice of Super Bowl trying to give you an autograph. Thank you for participating. Has everyone got their trading cards? Okay. Kind of pass them back quickly so we can get to that. Just take a piece, take a pack, and this is an exercise I like to do. I work very closely with the trading card companies, Panini, Topps, Upper Deck, etc. And I've done this in other presentations before. And it really helps to prove a point. When it's almost like Forrest Gump, you're not sure what you're going to get when you open that box of chocolates. It's the same kind of thing when you got trading cards. And I'll kind of help you pass that. Pass the extra one down. A little more coming around. Some of you are going to get lucky because there's some pretty valuable cards that are in there. Some of you will still be lucky because you got a pack of trading cards. But if everyone wouldn't mind opening them up, I'd appreciate that. If you can open them up, it's not easy to open. Now most of them are going to have a pretty significant amount of cards, probably 20. Some will have 10, some will have had 15. Go ahead and take a look at them. See who's in the pack. Anything good? Show of hands. Show of hands. How many people got in their pack, got a card with a football player? Should be all of you. That was a trick question. That's the amount of people who can find jobs in sports. Really, really important. You can do this. It's available to you. You have a sport management degree or getting one. I never even had, wasn't even close to getting one. How many of you got a quarterback in your pack? Significant amount. Quarterbacks rule the world. Those are how many people that can get jobs with teams, with leagues, with the NCAA, academia involved in sports management. How many people got an autograph card? 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be about 7 or 8 of them who got an actual autograph card. Anyone good? Anyone? There you go, okay. That's the amount of sports agents we probably have in this group. And I saw there was a couple who raised their hand. It is a really, really hard job. That's how many people will probably have jobs in the front office as a team president. Those are things you want to strive for, but they're hard and they're difficult. And you really got to work hard at it. Just a little exercise I thought you guys would find interesting. Anyone want to raise their hand for Billie Jean King's special? What her famous line was? Right there? There you go. You win Bob, you bow. After I was lucky enough to get Peyton and Joe Montana and Eli, I knew that this was going to be a career that I really wanted to work with, that I really wanted to go after, that I really wanted to hustle for. And I met some special people along the way, but I knew I had to work harder than everybody else if I was going to be successful. There certainly were more people that were better than I was than a carpet rug salesman who doesn't have a sports management degree. You guys have all of that. You still got to work hard. That's one of the 8 insights. Work harder than everybody else. After that, I got really lucky. And I met this woman right here. Now, when I met her, she had won a race, but she was pretty controversial.
Dudes, check it.
Oh, your new domain name and website from GoDaddy.com?
Yep, and now that I'm online, it's like I can make anything happen. Danica Patrick.
Suddenly I have the urge to take another shower.
This
is all legal.
Awesome! Keep watching.
This is my 5th shower today.
Steamy. Steamy? Let's add the German woman from the dean's office. Miss Schmidt!
The worst commercials in the history of the world are the ones that are the most successful. Really scary. That commercial was banned by the NFL, and they fought it, and they ended up having it aired on the Super Bowl, which maybe cost them $3 million, and it gave them $300 million worth of advertising. And I met Danica Patrick after she had already done that and said, I can't work with you, that's too risque for me. And she convinced me that she was the girl next door, but she just wanted to do things differently and uniquely, and I bought into it. And she became a client, and I got really lucky to have her on her list. And as I started working with her, I really learned that not every talent is the same, everyone's different. But when it comes down to it, you still gotta hustle in order to sell. And that's what I did. I figured out not only do you have to be good at one thing, but you're going to have to try to be good at other things as well. And so I decided to split my career at that point, and I said I was going to focus on talent. I had Peyton, I had Eli, I had Joe Montana, I had Billie Jean King, and I had Danica Patrick. And I thought, you know what, there's more out there. And there's this whole world called sponsorship. Raise of hands if anyone knows the term sponsorship. I'm assuming everyone's involved in classes and understands the sport of sponsorship. It's a big world out there, and there's a lot of sponsorship to be sold, and I can't stress to everybody enough how important that is. And I, in fact, was writing down some of the sponsorships that I've been involved in some of the categories. And again, I'm not saying that these are all things that you need to work on, but the wider you are and the deeper you are, the more experience you have, the more valuable you're going to be to a client. And when I was working at IMG for those 20 years, I was fortunate enough to work in women's tennis, naming rights of stadiums, Olympics, models, consulting, baseball, basketball, hockey, and lucky enough was able to work in golf with the likes of Tiger Woods and Arnold Palmer and the rest, and selling sponsorships and endorsements for them. And it all came at a cost of family and a cost of being really busy and working late hours, but it's worth it. And you have to work harder than everybody else in order to make that happen. So what do I do? What do I do on a daily basis? I sometimes ask myself that question, and I break it down to 3 different things. You know, I break it down to driving revenue. That's, in the end, that's what it comes down to. The clients that I represent, the brands that we represent, the customers that we represent, they want us to drive revenue. We're the best at the world at it. The second thing I do is build brands through corporate America. And those brands can be the talent that I'm working with. It could be a brand that I'm working with on a consulting side of it. It could be a naming rights partner that we're building their brand through corporate America to try to find a company that wants to put their name on it. And then lastly, specifically on the talent side, is helping them give back to their local communities. And that's one of the things that I'm really most proud of in my career, is the ability to help people give back, which is one of the insights that I really want people to think about. Gosh, this is hard. Anyway, it's there. Is to help people give back. And I have been lucky enough to have 3 Walter Payton Men of the Year, and Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, and LaDainian Tomlinson, who have given their most back to their community. And Warwick Dunn, who's a Florida State grad, is a winner of that as well, and it's the highest honor you can get in the NFL. I passed this one up here as I was describing what I was doing, and this is an important one, and it's the worst thing in the world that anyone can do, and that's networking. My gosh, I hate networking almost as much as I hate this computer. Networking. Oh boy. I've never met a better networker than the guy over there, Dr. Pappas. And people that the enthusiasm he has, and the people that he's introduced me to are off the charts. And I will tell you, it's impressive. And if there's one thing that you want to leave here with tonight, it's networking. And I know you're going to do some of that tomorrow, but you're hearing it from me, you're hearing it from Pat, you're hearing it from everyone you're going to listen to as you're a young person entering the world. This is not just about finding a great job. This is about life. You have to network, and you got to do social opportunities, and you have to go to parties that you don't want to go to, and you have to join clubs that you don't want to join. And it's really, really important to network at all costs. Anything that you need to do to meet new people, specifically in the sports and entertainment world, it's really, really, really important. Being humble. I can't tell you how many people I meet who represent one client or sell one sponsorship, and they see how great they are. And I'm using myself as a lot better example. I can't tell you the last time I did a media interview, the last time I stood next to a client. I have been caught on tape at a Super Bowl, maybe jumping up and down once or twice, but certainly wasn't on purpose, that's for sure. But being humble is really important, and I think that's something that everyone should work at. And then the last one, of course, is being nice. Gosh, it's important to be nice. Nice people go a lot further in this world, and I know it's kind of goofy, and it's a little bit deep, and we're talking about the sports and entertainment world, but the people that I've hired and the people that have been most successful are the ones that have been humble and the ones that have been nice. Really is true. Wrapping up here, before we get to some questions, I wanted to talk about the world of endorsements, a little bit about esports, a little bit about sports gambling. I think those are some really hot topics, and I wanted to show a couple of more commercials that I thought were fun. The world of endorsements, my gosh, is it different? I mean, it's unique, it's different, and you got people who are controversial. Let's play that one right now. I thought this was one of the best spots that's ever been done, regardless of what side you're on. I'd like to show this now.
If people say your dreams are crazy, if they laugh at what you think you can do, good. Because calling a dream crazy is not an insult, it's a compliment. Don't try to be the fastest in your school. Be the fastest ever. Don't believe you have to be like anybody to be somebody. Don't become the best basketball player on the planet. Be bigger than basketball. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. If you have only one hand, don't just watch football, play it. And if you're a girl from Compton, become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
That Nike commercial caused their stock to dip 2 or 3 points, which was pretty significant loss of finances. 3 days later, the stock was at an all-time high for the year. Doesn't matter what side you're sitting on, controversy does sell. And it's important for you guys to learn that. You gotta be different. You gotta be unique. In addition to controversy, you've also got mainstream. Comedy. Things that are funny. I love that world of endorsement. Something that you really want to pay attention to. This is one of the best spots that I ever worked on with Peyton and Eli Manning. They did it during, right before their football season started. It is as goofy as you can possibly get, but one of the funniest commercials they've ever been involved in. Humor sells just like sex sells and just like controversy sells. Take a look at this one.
Who are you talking to?
I'm not talking. I'm watching football.
Watching football.
Yeah, with DirecTV NFL Sunday Ticket Max, you can watch every game every Sunday afternoon on any device, like your computer, tablet, or phone.
Football? On your phone?
Football on your phone.
It's football on your phone. It's football on your phone.
It's football on your phone, that's what I said.
It's football on your phone. You can watch it in bed.
Take it with you wherever you go.
Show your friends and watch them all go.
It's football on your phone. It's football on your phone.
It's football on your phone, so now's your
To
chance.
have football on your phone and football in your pants.
Look at this guy using his phone as a phone.
Your phone ain't for calling,
Your
your
phone's
phone's
for footballing.
It's football on your phone. It's
Yeah.
football on your phone.
Let me ask you a question. What do you get when a football gets down with your phone?
It's football on your phone. It's
Yeah.
football on your phone.
You're on a date with Simone.
Football on your phone.
If you're taking out a small loan.
Football on your
When
phone.
you're sitting on your throne.
Football on your phone.
When you're buttering a scone.
Football on your phone. It's like I spilled milk all over your blouse by accident or on purpose. It's like the milk is like football and your blouse is the phone.
It's football on your phone. It's football on your phone.
Football on your phone means football all the time.
Do you want that?
He does, she does, our dad does.
Does your dad want it? I mean,
It's football on your phone.
yeah.
What do you think Alexander Graham Bell would say if he saw you watching football on your phone?
Who cares? Dude's dead.
It's football on your phone.
Sorry, that was a long video.
NFL Sunday Ticket.
Only on DirecTV.
Yeah.
50 million views. And that was way, way before 5 million views was big. And this was something that was important. I almost got fired. I must tell you, I was this close. When they put the wigs on, I was close to getting fired. They were not happy with me, that is for sure. Humor, that's a great way to sell. The other way that I love, let me get this. This is the last one I'm going to show for Danica. When I first met her, all she was doing was these types of ads, and they worked.
Out here, I can take on anything. Any car, any driver, any truck.
Peak long life antifreeze, formulated with an advanced organic technology to protect any engine, any make, any model, any time. Whatever you drive, Peak can take it on.
I'm tough enough to take on anything and fast enough to get away with it.
Get the antifreeze that can take on every car. Peak long life.
When you peak, You win.
Danica ended up changing her focus and career from the sexy part of it to Chevrolet, Gillette, DirecTV, Coca-Cola, Nationwide Insurance. We really flipped the script. So you don't have to start off at one and move to one. You can move to another. And that's the world of endorsements. That's what's so great about it. You can form an image through using advertising, which is a whole other lecture, but I thought it was important to mention. Last two things I wanted to talk about tonight that I think are the future of sport is sports gambling and esports. Raise a hand of people who play esports here. That's it? No Fortnite players? That is the future, I'm telling you right now. Whether it's Fortnite or whatever game is coming next, that is the future of the sports and entertainment business. In fact, I was talking with Dr. James today about the ratings that have been continuously going down, whether it's a football game or a baseball game, and how things are really shifting from free television to pay television. And we, as an organization, our company, we will be in esports, whether it's representing esports companies or representing guys like Ninja, although we don't have him, we'd love to have him as a talent. When you're paying someone $2.99 a month, I don't know if you all saw the ESPN article that came out a couple of days ago on ESPN.com, but he's driving $1 million a month in views of people watching him play video games. Not even playing video games with him, they're watching him play video games. When you're talking about those types of numbers, and you're talking about Overwatch, and you're talking about League of Legends, that's going to really make an impact. So if you're looking for new areas of opportunity, I would say that would be one of them. And then lastly, for sure would be gaming, gambling. I don't know where it's going to be, but the NBA, which is the first to say that gambling is going to be okay, they're a global organization, and certainly gambling has been legal all over the world, really except for the U.S. It's going to be super big, and it's going to be successful, and it's going to make a lot of money. So as you all are thinking about your careers, because I saw a lot of collegiate hands, I saw some sports agents, and I saw some sponsorship people, esports and gaming and gambling, those are things that I think are going to be the next frontiers for the business. I really appreciate you guys having me here. I'm sorry that the videos and the things didn't come up as smooth as I wanted to, but I do appreciate everyone's time. And I would love, if there's any questions that anybody has, I would love to take any questions that people might have for as long as you have.
With the microphone, just raise your hand, Charles, if you want to ask a question. Right there, right behind you. Right there. There you go. Awesome.
Perfect. Testing. All right, cool. Thank you, sir, for first of all coming and presenting and taking some time out of your schedule. Quick question as far as marketing agencies go. What's the commission structure like as far as with you all and prospective players? What's the general range you're allowed to charge those potential players that you represent?
That's a great question, and it's twofold. When you're representing a talent, you can represent them on two sides of the equation. You can represent them for their contract, on-field contract, and you can represent them for marketing. Depending upon the sport that they play, you can only charge a certain amount for their on-field contract. So if you're a football player, and you're a member of the NFL Players Association, which all players are who would come to the NFL, you can only charge a maximum of 3%. However, on the form, it automatically charges 1% with an X. You have to give an agent more than what's already listed. You can only charge up to 3%, but they recommend that you only charge 1%. I'm not a mathematician, but even if you do a $100 million contract, you're not going to make a lot of money as a sports agent, which is why it is very, very difficult in that business. On the other side of the equation, if you're a tennis player or you're a golfer, you don't charge anything for their on-field because you're really not, there's no negotiation. It's all about prize money. So it really depends on the sport that you're in. When it comes to marketing, which is the side that I'm really more of an expert in, the part that I really work on the most, typically you would charge somewhere between 15 and 25%. Usually it ends up at 20% is the number. It really depends on the volume of business that you're doing. If it's a Peyton Manning, of course the commission structure is going to be lower because you're doing more deals. If it's someone out of college, I won't even give an example, it's going to be much higher than that because they're not as established and not making as much money. And so it really depends on the talent, but a great question, and one that's kind of a mystery because you don't really know what to charge until you get in the meeting and there's competition and you realize, wait a minute, my guy's charging this and you got to prove why you're going to charge that, and that's why this business is really, really difficult because it's up to the client to decide what they want to pay.
Other questions? Right here in front, Chelsea, when you grab.
You said at the beginning of your lecture that you called, numerous teams like Arizona Cardinals, teams like that. And you always got denied. Who exactly were you calling, and when did you get that break?
What an awesome question. I mean, I wish I had the answer to it, but I would call several people. The first person I would always call was the head of HR. Now, remember, it's a little bit different, which is why I think if you take this advice, you're probably better off. Everything is done online now. I would never take that, no chance. I would never send in a resume online or worked on LinkedIn or go through, trying to think of Teamwork Online, Buffy Philippell out of Cleveland, Ohio. Great people, great service. Now, you're one of 1,000. You got to figure out a way. And I'll tell you what I did once, and I'm not saying everyone should do that. I'll never forget it. I got rejected, so I can tell the story. Guy had the same last name as me, and last name of Zucker, and he was a big sports agent out of Chicago, Illinois, and he represented Jim McMahon, and man, I wanted to be a sports agent so bad, and of course I was deep in my carpet and rug days, and I went to Home Depot, and I went to his office to, first of all, to meet him. They wouldn't let me through the door. I built a door from Home Depot that looked like his with the name on it. I put a knob on it, and I said, I'm opening the door for an opportunity. Put my resume in there, and he called me back. And I did not get the job, but he did call me. But he did call me back. And to answer your question specifically, the head of HR, and you just don't give up, and you just keep calling until you get a cell phone, or you get an email return, or you find out their cell phone and send a text message. And typically that's how it would work. The other person that you call, and again, and this is something really important I didn't mention in my talk, is the head of sales. And any of you who are taking notes, if you could draw a line on your piece of paper, right down the center of it, and on the left you put drive revenue, and on the right you put do not drive revenue. And if you're driving revenue, you're in sales. And if you're not driving revenue, it's every other job. So it's being an athletic director, it's being in PR, it's being in politics, it's being on-field equipment staff. If it's not driving revenue, it's over there. People who do not drive revenue can be fired. People who drive revenue cannot be fired unless you do some horrible things. I mean, it is really hard to get fired when you're bringing in money. To answer your question, the people that are needed most in organizations are salespeople. That is the most important position. We have 80 people in our company. We're the second largest sports agency in the world in representing talent. We only have 80 people. We have 17 salespeople. That'll just give you an idea. We are a sales company that represents clients on the side. That's just the way that it is. So when you're thinking about calling organizations and you want to be different and unique, which, what a great question, call the head of sales. He does not get a lot of calls. And be willing to do whatever you need to do for free in order to get yourself established. And I would recommend that you figure out a way to get in front of someone through doing something unique other than a piece of paper resume or through LinkedIn, because I can't tell you how many of those I get on an hourly basis. And it's not just me, it's anyone who is working in the sports and entertainment business would get.
Other questions?
Please.
Hi, my name is Tamara. I'm actually a graduate student, so I'm graduating soon. So all this advice that you're giving as far as how to get in front of people is definitely needed. But once you get in front of that person, what kind of personality traits and qualities and experience are they looking for whenever you finally?
That's a great question, and just by asking that question, you're heading in the right direction. Because what I always look for in a personality is someone who's honest, and someone who totally gets it, someone who's enthusiastic like this man right over here, and someone who's willing to do anything to be successful ethically. And when people come in and they're boring and they're slow and they have low energy, it just doesn't work. Now, granted, I'm more on the sales side of things. So when you're talking about doing other positions that are on the non-sales side, there might be something else that, too close. There might be something else that they might be looking for, but definitely a strong personality, definitely willing to do whatever job is necessary. Pat will tell you, when I first got to Florida State as an equipment manager, my first 2 jobs were in the laundry, which really sucked. And my second job was climbing a 30-foot tower with no harness and standing up there and ringing a bell every 5 minutes. That was my job for 18 months. And it was horrible, but I got Bobby Bowden's letter of recommendation. Whether he knew me or not wasn't important. It was the ability to get in front of someone that ended up working out really well.
Let's see. One more question. Anybody? One more question? Let's finish opportunity. Last one right here. Here's the microphone.
Hi, Alan. Thanks for your. I have a question about the trading card industry. I'm focusing on this field, but can you give me, idea of the future in this industry? And
Of trading cards?
yes, I think it's the sales in China has fallen some kind. So
I'll give you a little background on China. She's the first semester from China, and she came in my office one day. I didn't know anything about trading cards. And I
yes,
was in top. She gave me like baseball
Sure.
cards. But I hope you don't mind me telling the story. If you had cards from every single NBA, the whole deal, and you want to build a website to use it, a way to understand to convert the accuracy or the quality from China to US or everything equal to it's higher paid there in US. And it's kind of a fascinating industry, but I didn't think it was still an art form in terms of driving revenue or opportunity.
Yeah. Trading cards and stickers. Stickers are not a big deal here in the US, but they are popular everywhere else, and they're very tradable. And there's an organization that is keeping everything live and well, and that's called Panini. A lot of you got Panini cards here, and Panini is kind of the 800-pound gorilla. Upper Deck is still in business, but in sincere decline. They used to have a product called Yu-Gi-Oh!, which really helped pump up the business. Topps Trading Cards is still an official baseball sponsorship, and there's still a lot of revenue to be driven there. But it's definitely a declining industry. I would love to say it's not, because when a talent first comes out of college, specifically in football, when I go in to pitch a client this year, I was lucky enough to get a gentleman who's actually playing tonight by the name of Sam Darnold of the New York Jets. When you go in to pitch Sam and you go to pitch his family, there are certain things that you need to tell him that you're going to do. And if I'm going to commit, I'd say, I'm going to provide you with X amount of $1 million worth of revenue through your trading cards, your memorabilia, and your shoe contract. Many millions that I have to put on the line. And it's been very frustrating because as of late, the trading card business has been shrinking year after year, and where there used to be Leaf and Top and Panini and Upper Deck just in the NFL business, now there's only Panini. And it's frustrating because the levels of dollars have started to shrink. But on a global level, it's alive and well. It's just in the U.S. It's not as popular as it used to be.
Question? John, give it up for Alan.
Definitely want to thank Mr. Alan Zucker for coming in and spending time with us tonight. Show of hands, how many of you are familiar with, I know there might be some students, this is your first year here, are familiar with the College Town area? Show of hands? Hopefully everybody? Okay, there's still some that aren't. For those of you who aren't, as we leave this building, if you hang a left on Woodward and go directly down the hill, that's where College Town will be. It'll be on your left at a place called Township. There will be a gathering hosted by this event. Light appetizers will be provided, and you are all more than welcome to attend. That having been said, that will do it for us tonight, and we will head down to Township for the gathering. Thank you, everybody.